like, well, let me do this and let me fit in. But really,
that's what you call overthinking things.
Exactly.
Overthinking
things. And with me trying to overthink things, I just found myself getting more frustrated and feeling like, okay, this isn't going to work, because I felt like I fitted in with I feel like I had a quality from kind of each group. Welcome to the Tommy Fountain Podcast, where we talk about life issues.
And enjoy tea at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So today, it's going to be a continuation of what we talked about last week, which was, is friendship worth fighting for? That was a topic. Today's topic is going to be dealing with relationships amongst women, okay? And we're talking about the closeness that relationships entail. And specifically, we're going to talk about, is it hard for women to form close friendships? Now, I know my mom spoke a lot about that last week, and you was talking about like finding well-rounded friends and finding friends how difficult it was.
Rounded friends.
Yes, and having a friend that you can trust, the closeness, somebody that will that you can, if you're sick, will come over to your house to check on you. Someone who
will be
if
there
you needed
for
something,
you.
will be there for
like
you.
in the old days.
Yes.
A lot of you all might not know about that, but the older people, they understand what I'm saying about that.
Absolutely. And Mama, what generation you're part of?
I don't know. No, I am a baby boomer.
Yes, she is a baby boomer. I am a millennial, but we believe in hearing from different generations, different perspectives, because with each generation you can learn. You never stop learning. Have you ever wondered sometimes, Mom, why it was hard to form a close friendship, a lasting friendship, and did you ever struggle to get to a deeper level with that friendship?
Well, to me, I've never had that much of a problem with that. But what I have seen, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of times when it comes to friendship, there is a tendency for a lot of women to be so independent until it's hard to let anyone else in. And I would say that's probably a culture thing, because, women are always expected to do this and to do that. They run their households. A lot of times they're having to work.
Yes.
They're having to nurture the children. They're responsible if the kids are involved in a lot of sports and all of that. They are wearing many hats.
Yes.
It can cause a problem, and it can cause them to really, they're so independent. Until it's sort of hard to sort of like pull her back from that role. And then you're talking about bringing other people into your life. When you're already, you're independent already. And when you bring other people in, I think a lot of times some women feel that they're giving up a little piece, a little part of their independence.
I agree with that, Mom. Now, again, I am not a mother. I'm not a wife, so I don't understand that side yet. But I can understand how the woman usually takes on a lot of roles. If she's working a job, she has to provide for her family, provide for herself. Traditionally, the role is as far as the mother nurturing the child, even though we have some amazing fathers out here and some father figures.
Right.
Traditionally, it goes that the mother usually nurtures the child, helps the child grow up, and takes on the responsibility of going to the teacher parent meetings.
Don't I know about all of that?
Yes, going to meetings when your child is acting up. That was me. I was one of them kids. And also just making sure that they are there for their child it really in all aspects, and their significant other, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And when you have such a large role and a large responsibility that takes up a lot of your time, and you have that other side where you have to work and make a living, it makes it really hard to have to develop those relationships with women that you would like to, even if it's friendships that you've had, like you said, Mama, for years. And of course, like we was talking about last year, there are life changes that can influence those relationships. So, well, like Mama said, whether you married somebody that your friends or whoever doesn't agree with, whether you move somewhere, whether you're in your season of glowing up and doing bigger and better things. Not saying you're all that, but you're ready just to step into your next season. That tends to separation tends to happen, and that person may not understand. It's just many aspects, and I can definitely understand, Mom, what you were saying. And it's almost like the woman has like a self-preservation there. They're trying to just give enough of themselves to people around them, and maybe prioritizing can be, I guess, prioritizing those things can be a struggle at times. Not all the time.
Yes, I think it can be. You all, let's have some of this good tea.
Good tea.
Ooh.
Gonna move the notes out of the way.
Ooh. A little hot there. See, your light's hot tea, and I'm going to tell you, this is hot.
Ooh, yes.
So while we're fixing this tea, just like we were saying, and like I was saying, sometimes if you're really an independent woman, then sometimes it can work against you in a way.
Okay.
It can work against you because a lot of times if things like that happen, sometimes people might think that you might be unapproachable. And I guess it's all in how we present ourselves too. I guess we'll come to like the tone of it.
Right.
How we present ourselves to people that we're trying to get to know. Say, for example, they might be, they might say, oh, she's unapproachable. Or even though you might not intend to be that way, you might be giving off that vibe. Right. And I know it's hard because we are independent women. And hey, I have a lot of friends, but also too, I do feel that maybe some of the people I have come in contact with, I probably have given that vibe off to them. And I try to be more conscious of it now. So when we're talking about this topic, not only are we referring to women in general, if I can see myself in it, then I will, hey, be the first to say, okay, it happens to me, or it has happened to me too. So when we're having these candid discussions, we're going to be real. And when I say real, we're going to talk about ourselves too. If we see ourselves in it, then we're going to say the same thing. But that, it happens a lot.
And another thing besides being independent, and I can speak to this next topic. If you are sensitive to people's emotions and you feel like you want to fix everybody around you, you want to help them, that can be emotionally exhausting. And what I found out was that I cannot, and I'm glad I found this out before I became a mother before I became a wife and then a mother. But when you give too much of yourself and you want to help everybody, but it can be emotionally draining depending on the situation, and not knowing how to prioritize when somebody is truly having a need and when somebody is just wanting to vent. That can be a lot as well. Not saying you don't want to hear your friends vent, but saying that sometimes, depending on the situation, you may have to take a step back, especially if life can be draining as it is. But when you try to take on other people's situations and you try to fix it, because with my background being in social work, we're always taught to analyze the situation, see what that person's needs are. We're always thinking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs. So people around me, I want to take care of them, and I'm known as a fixer.
Yes.
So I want to fix everything, and I want everybody to be okay. But I have realized that just even with work, it can slow down your productivity, and you're not. It makes it so you're not as productive. At the end of the day, you just want to just make that separation. That has happened to me, because I'm like, if I have really given too much of emotionally to myself, to someone, and I really invested in them, and then it is still, the situation is still a little messed up or not how I thought it would be, I just left it you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I think I want to leave this situation so I can have a peace of mind. So I have learned the hard way, but I have learned the importance of like Mama always tells me, you love people, you give them advice, you give them life advice, you try to sow into their lives the best way that you can, but do not have somebody bring you down. And that can be from your family members to your friends to whoever. But of course we're talking about friendships. Yes. And co-workers and just really anybody. But do you have any chime in?
Yes. The thing about it, you all, don't be highly empathetic and insensitive, because just like she was saying, when you do that, it's gonna be exhausting to you all. It's gonna really be exhausting. And you have to save a little part of yourself for yourself. You can't give it all away. It's okay to try to help people out, but just don't get so emotionally attached, because the emotions it will make or break you. Often, when you're emotional attached, then sometimes you find yourself just all worked up and thinking about things that maybe had happened to you. Then that has a tendency to make you push people away.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, I don't want to go there. Okay, so you have the tendency to push people and keep them at an arm's length. So I would say, before it gets to that point, if you feel yourself being too empathetic or getting too emotional attached, then maybe you need to reel things back in. Also, being emotionally honest with people, that will help build mutual friendships, you all. Just be honest with people. Be genuine. A lot of times, that's the key to lasting friendships. Just be honest. But just don't get yourself all tangled up in someone else's, affairs.
Yeah.
Because that will break up friendships too. And that will allow you, when it's all said and done, that friendship that you thought maybe you had developed, you'll find out that's not a friendship at all. Right. A lot of times when that happens, you find yourself on the outside looking in. You're the odd man out. Sometimes the fear of rejection might hold us back, because we're afraid of what people are going to think about us. We're just afraid. You want to say something, but you say, oh, I'm afraid to say it, because if I say that, they're going to think this or that about me, and I don't want them to think this or that about me. But the thing about, like I said, you have to remember, you need to be honest. Because one thing I can tell you, if you're playing a game and if you're not honest with people, you're going to give yourself away. It's going to happen at some point. They're going to see the real you. So I always say trying to be as authentic as you can be.
Absolutely. And I have to be honest with you. Oh, you can
Authentic? Was it authentic?
Yes, ma'am. Authentic.
Authentic. Try to be as authentic as you can be.
Yeah, this tea is really good, by the way.
It is. I can taste the blackberry in it.
Blackberry is so rich, Lord. I can taste the sage, oolong.
And the
It's
sage.
good. And I have to be honest with you. I had the same thing going on, the fear of rejection. Oh, are they going to like me if I say this? Are they going to like me when I say that? Because like I said, I have always felt like I was the old soul. And out of the group, the one that had the wisdom. Sometimes I felt like the grandma. And sometimes I just was not, I was trying to fit in. And it got to a point, I'm just like, okay, well, if I try to present myself as being perfect, and mind you, you all, this was like in my teens and 20s. I'm not like that anymore. But I just wanted to be perfect. And it's just like, I guess you can call it perfectionism. Everything about me, I just wanted to exceed in everything. Of course, academics, that was a big thing. Because when I was younger, I struggled a lot in school. And so when I got to the point where I could actually, thank God for Mama praying over me that day.
Oh, yes.
Because, I was one of them kids that I just did not like... I didn't like being in the classroom and learning and stuff. I don't know. Just to be honest.
They knew my name.
They knew my mother's name, Miss Harrison, but my mother prayed over my head one time, and I'm telling you, I don't know what was released, but she was really praying for me, and her thoughts, her prayers, God heard them, and from there, my mind just opened up. It didn't mean that I aced every test, I scored every standardized test, because I didn't. But I was able to move forward, graduate high school, succeed in community college, succeeded in my undergraduate, and then in my master's program.
Yeah.
But I had this thing where I wanted to be perfect in everything. And I said, okay, if I'm just right in this area, if I'm just acting like this, then I will get this type of friend. Because I always wanted to get friends and people around me that... of course, we're confident, but we're just really smart and sure of themselves. I'm like, well, let me do this and let me fit in. But really...
that's what you call overthinking things.
Exactly.
Overthinking
things. And with me trying to overthink things, I just found myself getting more frustrated and feeling like, okay, this isn't going to work. Because I felt like I fitted in with really... I feel like I had a quality from kind of each group. I felt like I fit in with the nerds. I had a nerd side. And then I feel like I had a side that was confident. I had a fun side, but also had a quiet side. And a side that I like to, keep to myself, keep peace. So I was like, I have to be my authentic self. And also, also a really smart, insightful self as well. But that was really hard trying to, figure it out when I was younger, just overthinking. And when you overthink, you make so many mistakes. You make a lot of you make generalizations of yourself. Your expectations are not, you said really.
Wonder if you, did I do something wrong? Is something wrong with what I said? And
exactly.
You spend a lot of time with doing things like that, saying things like that.
You set really unrealistic expectations
make you unproductive.
For yourself. You're unproductive. And it's just, it's not going to help you grow, okay? And I do believe with me struggling with those areas, I believe it hindered me with developing the friendships that I should have developed, because with all that overthinking and perfectionism and I found myself not getting as close. So this topic definitely hits home to me because
right. Be so independent.
Yes.
Makes a big difference.
And also too, I didn't have that self-awareness. Now my mother told me, but she was, I was like, okay. I'm like, she's old. She don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, she said that.
I like, she don't know what she's talking about. And really, Mom was very wise in what she told me. What did you sense when I was younger and in my 20s and just as a teen? What did you sense as far as me not having the lack of self-awareness?
I just felt that she felt that she had to compete with her sister.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that caused problems. And yes, I was one of the parents that did send my kids to separate schools. And that was because I didn't want one child compared to the other child. So I chose to do that. I sent them to different elementary schools. Unfortunately, they did end up in the same high school. But, I did send them to different schools. Middle school, yes. Because I felt that during that time, and I don't know where she got it from because it wasn't from me. Because I did what I could do. She felt that she had to. You know what? I think I do have a idea where some of it came from. And I would say too, while we're in school, our teachers, they mean well, and I know they love our children. But sometimes when you have two children and you have them in the same school, and if they are fortunate enough to get the same teacher, sometimes that teacher make comparison. So I think Sierra problem started with the comparison from the teachers. And that's how I ended up separating my children and sending them to different schools, because there would begin to be a comparison to her older sister. But I've always told my children I want them to have their own identity. And I didn't want them to walk into anyone's shadow, not even their sister's, shadow. I did not want them to do that. So when I seen that it was happening pretty frequently there, I felt I need to intervene and separate them so they could be their own person. But coming up as young children, they're very impressionable. And sometimes things that are said by teachers and even family members and all of that, it can cause a problem for a young child. So I think that's where her problem, came in about, being so independent. And because she didn't want anyone to compare her to anyone else or compare her to her sister. I'm pretty sure that's probably where it came from. And like I said, I know there are a lot of young women out there like that. And this is one thing that she's had to work through.
Yeah.
For years. I think she's gotten better at it. And there are probably a lot of other young women that need to work through this too, to find out, hey, why don't I have these lasting relationships? Is it something I'm doing? 9 times out of 10, I will say, if you don't have these lasting relationships, it is because of something you're doing. You need to look at yourself first.
And I think I was trying to blame people. I'm like, no.
Oh, she was trying to blame everybody.
I'm like, no, it was her. She had an attitude, or he did this and he did that. And Mama was like, no, Sierra, it's your attitude. You were doing this, you were doing that. And I was like, no, I wasn't. But it's just so much growth that has to take, it has to take over. There's growth that has to happen over time. Maturity, and also too, I do believe that life issues will influence how you treat people, how you see yourself, how you really do deep reflections within yourself. And that's definitely what happened with me. Because I know Mama, I mean, there was some relationships that I could have had with some people. But I chose, it was my thinking that I think that I had at the time. But now, with me being older, I'm like, I'm looking forward to the future and seeing what I can do to help other young ladies and help to build that confidence, that self-awareness, that's really that self-esteem, and so they can be their best self.
Let other people into your life.
Yeah, let other good people into your life. Not saying that you won't, like we said last week, not saying that you won't run into those duds, because sometimes people will fool you.
Yeah.
And when they fool you, get them out real quick. Like, give them the boot and tell them to go on.
Right, but you want the lasting friendship.
Yeah, you want the lasting friendships.
Because there are some people that are worthy.
Yeah.
And then, just like we were saying, don't let it be you that stop yourself from getting those lasting friendships or those friends.
Yes.
For those lasting friendships.
And I think with me
don't hinder
too,
yourself.
I feel like I did have some people too, they really good people that came into my life. But then again, I went through a period when I got sick and I cut everybody off, and that wasn't good either. And so I lost connection with some really good people that meant me well, that part I do regret, but I do think that I've learned a lot from it. And just like I said, with my book, you just have to take the good with the bad and just learn to just carry on and learn to live your life. So just be aware of your behaviors, your actions, but just understanding the point is to have personal growth. And I'm gonna definitely be as transparent. I'm glad Mama was transparent. Is there anything that you feel like you have experienced really quick with your growth in friendships?
No, I would say the biggest thing is just being honest. Sometimes they won't like it, and I know you keep saying, well, she's keep hopping on this honesty thing.
Mama is very honest.
Honesty is the foundation for everything. Be honest.
Yeah. She hurt your feelings.
Put yourself out there. Don't worry about that. Put yourself out there.
Yes.
Because I'd rather for a person be honest with me. And going back to what Sierra was saying, yeah, sometimes when you're independent too, you are, and I see that too also, with my job. If something comes along like a chronic illness or a sickness, and you feel that, hey, only thing I had was my independence.
Yes.
And when that happens, you got to depend a little bit on other people, and you feel you're losing a little bit of that, then sometimes that will cause you to, to shut yourself off from people.
Yeah, that's what
happens. And also
to me.
It will cause people to say things that I think normally they probably wouldn't say.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's just a fear of the unknown. So you have to think about that too. So I would say with the same thing, that some of the people that have cut you off and you felt, okay, I just got to cut them off because this is not going to be a lasting relationship, a friendship. Then if you have a situation like that, you might want to go back and reevaluate that situation, because it might be something that was really going on with that person that caused that friendship to sour. A lot of times things are not always black and white. Sometimes there's some gray areas there that we all have to work on and look. And that friendship, maybe that might be worth saving. And for you, for the one that's having these chronic illness and things like that, never think that you're in it by yourself.
You're not.
You're only in it by yourself if you want to be. But you're not in it by yourself. Rely on people.
Yes.
That's what they're here for. That's what they're placed in your life for. To help you in your time of need.
And that's how I was able to overcome hearing those words of wisdom, learning many lessons from my mother. So if you see me now and you're like, oh, Sierra is she's done these speaking engagements, she's done this, she's done that, is because that I had somebody in my corner who sowed into my life and let me know that I was important, that I mattered, that my story mattered, and also let me know the importance of serving others and giving back. Mm-hmm. And so if you see me now, that's because of my mother. So I thank God. She is definitely one of the people that God sent into my life. And Mom always told me, because Mom always told me that God was send, you say ram in the bush?
Yes.
Ram in the bush, or rams in the bushes. And I'm telling you, I have seen many of them, many blessings. And she also told me that God sends people in your life for a reason. And I have been very fortunate to connect with the people that I have connected with. Even if I don't talk to them anymore, you will always have a special place in my heart. And I will always pray from you, whether that's you're hearing from me every day or whether that's from afar. Because everybody matters. Everybody matters. And everybody just deserves that piece of happiness.
And don't forget, you all, when you're praying and you're asking God for things, and you go into that prayer mode, you're praying for other people too. Really, the prayer is really for others. Mm-hmm. It's for others, lives you can touch. That's what you're really praying for. You're praying for other people.
Yes.
To go on, to be more productive, to go on to do great things, to have a better life, productive life, quality of life, a good quality of life.
Yes.
But you're praying for others. You're showing that love.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a very insightful, enriching conversation, Mom. Mm-hmm. And we hope that you all got something really good from this conversation. You got some great points, something that you will be able to take along in your life and put it in your life toolbox.
Oh, yes. You never could get enough, you all.
Never get enough. You're going to always learn every day. And me and Mom, we're life learners.
Yes.
We are life learners. And we're going to go ahead and end this episode with... Ready?
Yes.
Enjoy
life and breathe.
Yay!
See you later. Goodbye.